Being a Mitch, big questions arise next week as Mitch McConnell, Steve Mnuchin, and Mark Meadows say they're going to introduce a second stimulus package to get approved during the holiday season. Exciting news, but what will be the deal provisions? I wanted some insight. So for Thanksgiving lunch, I went to the casino, and there was Sir Lloyd, I saw him and wished him a happy Thanksgiving. I sat down to have my Thanksgiving brunch there, and he said, "Can you move over?" I'm like, "I'm having Thanksgiving. Why is it move over?" "Okay, move over." "Okay, all right." I said, "What are you having for Thanksgiving, Sir Lloyd?" He said, "Grass. I was eating out on the front lawn." I'm like, "You're eating the front lawn on Thanksgiving? That's not very festive." "Well, I was hungry. I'm a cow." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Well, did you ever get your stimulus?" I'm like, "No, we did not ever get our stimulus." "How come cows got our stimulus before us?" "Because there's a lobbyist named Sir Lloyd who got the cows the stimulus before the rest of Americans. But they say that Mitch McConnell, Steve Mnuchin, and Mark Meadows are going to get a stimulus package done and together and get it done but during the holidays. "Oh, that's good. That's good. It's going to have $12 ice cream in it." I'm like, "No, it's not going to be $12 ice cream in it." "Well, you have to bring her $12 ice cream, otherwise she won't sign anything." Apparently, it's no longer just a Nancy Pelosi negotiated team on the Democrat side. There's a couple people involved. "Oh, that's good. That's good. So is there any money for cows?" And I'm like, "No, there's no money for cows in there." There's likely to be some stimulus checks, some enhanced unemployment benefits, some extension of PUA, some extension of UI, maybe some hazard pay, and then maybe some PPP. And they're hoping to get this done during the holidays. We will definitely be thankful for it. What are you thankful for this holiday season, Sir Lloyd? I'm thankful that they had an extra lawn outside so I could eat that for lunch. I'm thankful that I do not have Mitch McConnell's hands. And I'm also thankful that I do not have Nancy Pelosi's hairstyle. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Being a Mitch, and big developments across the board on your second stimulus check and second stimulus package. And it was great to see Sir Lloyd, and he wishes you happy Thanksgiving. And, if you do have a lawn to mow, just invite Sir Lloyd over for Thanksgiving. He'll just eat your front lawn, and you won't have to do any work. That's the spirit of Thanksgiving. Just giving thanks to the cows that just sort of mow the front lawn by eating it up because they're hungry and it's Thanksgiving. Developments across the board, but understand that I want you to subscribe because no one's getting you money 5 weeks from now, 5 months from now, or 5 years from now. I'm getting you money right now, this minute, and throughout this broadcast, throughout this day. I'm going taped, I'm going live, I'm answering your questions. I have volunteers that are helping you as well, and I need to ensure that you get this money right now because it's not going to be around a long time. It's going to be around to about mid-December, and this is money that all of you qualify for, thousands of dollars. I've gotten $250,000 to viewers for this CARES Act 1 grants. No one gets money better than I do on this channel. I got viewers $5 to $25 million on EIDL back in April, May, and now I'm trying to help you get money right now because ultimately what Mitch McConnell, Steve Mnuchin, and Mark Meadows do won't give you money this weekend, won't give you money early next week. It takes at least 10 days to get money. And so what I'm trying to do is get you money right now. And that's why in less than a week, well, I guess today is a week now, I'm getting so much money for so many viewers, and you should be the next person. So please subscribe to this channel. Also, like this video. In this video, I'll be going over what Mitch McConnell will be doing in the coming days, what he would likely do, what he would not likely do, what Wall Street is urging him to do and urging Nancy Pelosi to accept. What is the Janet Yellen ringer? How does she sort of change the dynamic? And what's going on with Joe Biden and President Donald Trump and executive orders? Ultimately, when I don't mention something for 20 minutes on this channel, someone's like, is it gone? Is it no longer an issue? No, I haven't mentioned it for the last 20 minutes. It's still there. So I'm bringing back executive orders because some of you have been asking that about as well. Let's get to the breaking news. The breaking news is that executive orders can get this done right away. There's $800 billion of CARES Act 1 money, the SBA, and it doesn't matter what Congress is doing or not doing. The president can send out that $800 billion of SBA money that's unused CARES Act 1 money that was for the PPP program as a stimulus check. It would amount to a $5,000 stimulus check. The president has said he would give you a stimulus check. He said and has promised you a stimulus check. And, everyone in his negotiating team, Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin, in the last round of negotiations said that they had gone higher than their prior offer, which was $1,200, meaning that they had gone to $2,000. So every time that they've spoken, they've said that they're going to give you bigger stimulus checks than what the Temple of Doom wants to give you, which is $500 or 10 cents. And ultimately, you want the president to do executive orders. Over the weekend or over Thanksgiving, he started doing pardons, and I don't mean turkeys. And so he's certainly involved with the situation. And you need to be tagging Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin and Larry Kudlow, because they do listen to this channel. There's been countless examples in which Steve Mnuchin has done exactly what I've been urging him to do after he did something different. For example, he was $100 billion from state and local. I said, go to 300, and he went to 300. I said, go higher on your stimulus checks. He went higher on the stimulus checks. I said, do the problem solvers bill. He said, I'll do the problem solvers bill. There have been countless examples in which the power of the purple has pushed the narrative to get it to where we want it to be. And ultimately, you need to keep on pushing this narrative, because I don't think, actually, I'm certain about this. I don't think about it. I'm certain about that money that's at SBA will be there indefinitely. It's going to get returned. And at some point when it's returned, bam, the possibility for executive order is gone, because there's no money to fund the executive order. So let's turn to the next equation. How about the negotiations? Who are the negotiators? Which is a big question I'm getting from viewers. So the chief negotiator at this point for the Republicans is Mitch McConnell. But Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows are still involved, and so is the president, which is very encouraging. But what's important to understand is that Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin have now come into sort of the dominion of where Mitch McConnell is on numbers. So they're not at 1.9. 1.9's gone. She didn't accept it. It's gone. So now they're Mitch McConnell's numbers, because eventually in a few weeks, Steve Mnuchin and Mark Meadows will be gone. And so they're setting it up for where Mitch McConnell wants to be. And they're saying, hey, this is where Mitch McConnell wants to be, and this is where it should be, and that's where it's going to be. Ironically, that's what Wall Street wants. In the last 3 days, Wall Street said, you know what? You can do this with Mitch McConnell's numbers. Just do it with Mitch McConnell's numbers. That would give you a stimulus check. It would give you unemployment benefits extended. I'll go more over that in a second. It will give you PPP. It will give you potentially a little bit of hazard pay. And that's all you really need. Meantime, the breaking news in the last 24 hours is that, you know what? That claim that you needed all this money for states because they're going bankrupt is no longer true. What's important to understand is that when the pandemic hit in March, we didn't know the impact of the pandemic on states. How much lost revenue because of lost taxes were states going to endure? And then as Nancy Pelosi drafted her initial HEROES bill, she asked for $900 billion for state and local, which to this day I can't even say the number. It's so high. It's just ridiculous. And she never would tell you the number. I told you the number because I found the number. She wouldn't say publicly ever the number because she didn't want you to know how incredibly large it was. Of the entire bill, it was 1/3 of the bill. That's how much she wanted to give to states and states, and the vast majority was going to go to the state of California and the state of New York, and very little to other states. So it was a big bailout for 2 states, and what then transpired was Moody's Analytics did a report that said, you know what, you only need about $150 billion based upon where the pandemic is now. And Mark Meadows said, you know what, the president will double that. He'll do $300 billion. Well, now Wall Street's saying, I don't even think you need $150 billion. You may even need nothing, because the situation is the following. While certain industries have struggled during this pandemic, like hospitality and travel, other industries like new home starts, technology, and similar are absolutely making hand over fist a lot more money than they ever made before. And so states are not losing money during this pandemic in the way in which the Democrats initially wanted to tell you. Bottom line is Nancy Pelosi's $2.2 trillion number is no longer supported by any economics. So now the other question is, who are the negotiators for the second stimulus package and what will be negotiated in them? Janet Yellen will be announced as the Treasury Secretary for Biden in the next few days. She was expected to be announced yesterday, but wasn't officially announced, even though we know it's her. And Joe Biden has things that he wants to have in stimulus that Nancy Pelosi does not have in it. And so it's likely that we're going to go through two or multiple stages of stimulus packages. Joe Biden says he'll keep on doing stimulus packages. He'll keep on doing stimulus checks until we're done with this, which is good. But while she says do one right now that's just sort of simple and narrow and get it out, stimulus checks, unemployment, and get it out. And that's what you're going to see in the next few days. The question is whether the Democrats will have the reality check to understand, accept that, and do something thereafter. What's important to understand is that the narrative for the Democrats has been skewed. It used to be just one narrative, whatever Nancy Pelosi said. Now you have Mitch. Now you have Joe Biden saying something which is different from what Nancy Pelosi says. Joe Biden says we'll do this thing, and then we'll do this thing, and then we'll do this thing, and then we'll do this thing. And Nancy Pelosi says, we're just doing one, and we're not going to do piecemeal. Joe Biden is all about piecemeal. Joe Biden wants to do one thing for this thing, and one thing for this thing, and one thing for this thing. And then as soon as press reaches out to Joe Biden to say, that sounds sort of contradictory to what Nancy Pelosi says, I support Nancy Pelosi. But it's still piecemeal. So what's important to understand is I do believe you're going to get a second stimulus check during the holidays. I do believe you're going to get unemployment benefits. I do believe you're going to get some version of housing pay. But that's based upon rational people acting in Congress. If they act irrational, then that's not my prediction. Acting irrational is the following situation, and this could very much happen. That Democrats think they're going to win 2 Georgia Senate seats on January 5th, and they're not going to do anything until they see the events on January 5th. Wall Street thinks that is absolutely crazy and a dangerous move, and I'll tell you why. Because Wall Street says stimulus and relief needs to be done now. This is November. January 5th is nearly 2 months from now. This is November, 26? Well, it's about a month and a half from now. So they're saying you can't wait a month and a half from now. You need to do this right now. Every week is dangerous. Moreover, the deadlines of December are just a series of more deadlines that Wall Street is saying you can't let pass without addressing them. And they understand that Congress has let deadlines pass before, thinking they could skate on it and ignore it. But this time, Wall Street says you can't. Let me explain what's going on. In July, FPUC expired, and there's countless interviews, you can pull them, from Vice President-elect Harris, who said, you know what, we can't have FPUC expire in July. This is crazy. Well, it did expire, and it has never been brought back to this day. So now, as we see here in November, what's expiring in a few weeks? Unemployment under FPUC. Under FPEUC. Next, PUA. Eviction moratoriums, a mortgage forbearance, student loan repayment. The list keeps on growing. A lot of things are expiring in a few weeks. So what is Wall Street saying? You have lockdowns. You have business shutdowns because of ordinances from counties and states across the country. You have COVID-19 cases ravaging across the country. And now is not a time to say, check back with me in 90 days. I'll get to you on January 7th after the election in Georgia. No, Wall Street say no. We can't do this. January, and let me give you the numbers, because I don't often do this because the numbers may scare you, but I just want to give you the frank revelation, which is that if they were to do an extension of unemployment benefits after the January 5th election in Georgia, that would mean they would pass the law, let's say, late January, and then they'd send the money out to the states, and the states would have the money in February, and then the states would send you the money, and you get the money in like late February. Wait a second. That's January. That's February. That's almost 2 months with no unemployment benefits. 8 weeks? Some people can't go 1 day without unemployment benefits lapsing, and they want you to go 2 months and risk it. That's what Wall Street's saying to the Democrats. Don't do it. It's too dangerous, and you're going to cause the economy to implode. What's important and reassuring for you to understand, and I want you to stay on a positive note to end this video, is that Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary appointee for Joe Biden, is not Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi has no economic background. Nancy Pelosi is just a politician. She's just a career politician. She's not a business degree. She's not an MBA. She's not a finance person. She has literally no understanding except social issues. People are hungry, people are sad, people are hungry, people are sad. Janet Yellen is an economist, and she understands you can't have things start to fall apart in this economy. Otherwise, everything starts to collapse. And she is in no way going to let Joe Biden sit back and say, you know what, check with us in February, and we'll give you some economic relief in February. She's going to say you're going to have an economy that's in tanks for your entire administration. You wait till February. It's as simple as that. So with that, stay focused, because next week I want you to understand there's going to be a real push, and I want you to take this video, I want to share it, and tag the politicians. You know, Mitch McConnell's communications director doesn't have 1 million followers, so share this video, tag the Purple Power, push, push, push. And join me next on more recordings live and taped throughout the day, and also on evenings at Lalate starting at 6 p.m. with big updates about your check. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and stay Lalate for more.